The leader going into the 7th round is Myriam Boileau, a 16-year-old from Montreal who was 4th at the World Junior Championships last year. And one of the reasons, Janet, she's leading the competition, this dive in the 5th round.
Yes, this back 1.5 with 2 1/2 twist. She did an absolutely spectacular job on the dive. Her diving has come a long way in the past year. You can see a great performance and a rip entry on the bottom. Spectacular.
And that earned her 7.5 from all 7 judges at poolside. Now to the 7th round.
And Steve, this is a much more difficult dive. The back 2 1/2 somersault in the pike position, the DD being 2.9. Now this is what we consider a blind dive. The diver jumps off backwards, rotates backwards, and then must commit to the entry before they actually see the water. So their timing has to be dead on.
Remember, she's diving from about 3 stories up.
An incredible dive. What great form and a rip entry on the bottom. Look at Michel LaRouche, her coach. He's very excited. We're going to see some fabulous scores on that dive.
9, 7.5 et 8.5.
A very strong jump here. Look at the position in the air. She gets into her pike very quickly. Her head is almost on her knees, near perfect position, and she's out at the 5-meter level and goes straight in the water. Again, a great top here on the dive. Excellent position. And look at the come out. She can see the water and just stretch for it to get almost a no splash entry.
Remember, the top score in diving is a 10. Look, there's a 9, 2 8.5s, 1 8, and 3 7.5s. We're looking now at B.A. MACPHERSON from Campbellville, Ontario, a 20-year-old who now trains in Victoria, BC.
And Steve, she moved there this fall with the opening of the new Commonwealth Games pool. Now this dive is the reverse 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position. It's a good dive. However, she didn't finish the dive as high above the water as she needed to get the 8s and 9s. She'll receive very good scores, but she needs just to class it up a little bit more. A strong jump here, but she needs to explode a little more, get into a tighter tuck, and then have more control on the bottom.
And that loss of control on the bottom will affect her marks. 1 5.5, 1 6, 1 6.5, 4 7s for a total of 54.27. And now getting set for her dive in the 7th round, 19-year-old Anne Momini, the defending champion in this event. Paige Gordon is the defending summer champion. Anne Momini, the defending winter champion.
And this dive, the back 2 1/2 somersault in the pike position, the DD 2.9. Oh no, that's a total miss. She was way long, way past that perfect vertical entry. You'll see on the takeoff when the replay comes back that she got up, started her position, and she went very quickly. She almost didn't take her enough time to think about what she was doing. Her pike position there is not great, and when she comes out, I think she thinks she was in more trouble than she actually was and pulled the dive way long.
And pulling it way long has cost her 3 5s, 4 5.5s for a total of 46.11. Sitting in 4th place coming into the 7th round, 20-year-old Paige Gordon of West Vancouver, BC. She's a 4-time Canadian champion on tower, and this was her dive in the 6th round.
Yes, and Steve, this is a brand new dive in her list, and she was putting it into this competition just to see how it actually goes, and it was not a great dive. She was very long on the entry. She just wasn't quite in control.
The key for Paige, and she certainly got the experience, is to now erase the memory of that poor dive.
And that's very important. A diver of this caliber must be able to do that, to carry on, to gain ground, to come back in their position in the competition. Now this is a back 2 1/2 somersault in the pike position, another blind dive. An excellent dive. She had a great pike position in the air. She came out, went into the water very cleanly, almost dead on, perfect vertical.
8.5, 7.5, 7.5 et 8.
The takeoff here is great. Look at the position. Her head is right on her knees. She has lots of room to line up, and that entry is spectacular.
All that vast international experience paying off for Paige Gordon. 1 7, 3 7.5s, and 2 8s, and 1 8.5 for a total of 66.99 for Paige Gordon. So with the 8th and final round in the women's 10 meters still to come, Boileau leads Momini by 42 points. Gordon is a distant third. The final dive now for Miriam Boileau. It must do wonders for the confidence knowing you've got such a huge lead with one dive separating you from a national title, Janet.
It certainly does. This diver has shown how great she can be in this competition. She's been coming along very strong over the last couple of years, but she really has her act together here. And this is a reverse 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position. It's a good dive, but she left the dive short of the vertical entry. She needs more explosion off the top. Also, when we check the replay, you'll see that her feet are flat in the tuck position, and the judges will notice that and take off a few marks. You need to have pointed toes throughout the entire dive. The jump here has good distance away from the board, but it needs to be a little stronger. See the flat feet right there? The judges will take scores off, and when she comes out, she needs to work the entry a little bit more to get into the perfect vertical.
The scores for the 16-year-old, 1-5, 1-5.5, 2 6s, 3 6.5s, for a total of 49.41. B.A. McPherson needs 6s on the dive to move into second place. She cannot catch the leader, Miriam Boileau.
And this is the back 1 1/2 somersault with 2 1/2 twists. This dive, Steve, normally is an excellent dive for B.A. That's why she puts it right at the end of her list. She always counts on it. A good dive. It was almost in straight up and down, but you'll notice when we go back and look at the replay, Steve, that she lost her legs. They were slipping around in the twist. The judges deduct for that error. A strong, smooth takeoff at the start, but what she may have done is dropped one shoulder a little earlier getting into the twist, and that puts your body off, and you can see her legs moving.
Consistent scoring from the judges, 5 7s, 2 7.5s, 59.64 for B.A. McPherson. And Momini, a second-year health sciences student at John Abbott College, and there may be a reason why she's not been diving so well, Janet. Food poisoning.
That's right. She went out last night for a team dinner and was up all night long sick. I'm amazed she's even on the tower. An incredible final dive. You would never know this girl was sick. She has put in such a great effort today. She's probably not pleased with the outcome, but considering the circumstances, she's, doing very well. A good solid dive here. Good twisting action. Very tight in the legs and toes and right in on the bottom. Maybe a bit too splashy for Anne.
The scores for Anne Momini, 1 6.5, 4 7s, 2 7.5s, for a total of 59.64. And now Paige Gordon, who needs 8.5s to finish second and move ahead of Momini.
And this is the back 1 1/2 somersault with 3 1/2 twists. Her most difficult dive, the DD 3.2. An excellent final dive. She had a solid twisting action in the air. It went straight in. You can see the scores of the judges that they do like the dive. It is a very difficult dive to perform. The takeoff here is great. She's strong. She's moving well. And lots of time to line up for that entry.
She needed 8.5s to finish second. She gets 1 6.5, 4 7s, and 2 7.5s for a total of 68.16. A well-deserved shoulder massage for the new champion on the women's tower, Miriam Boileau. Coach and diver, all smiles. And why not? Boileau, the class of this field, by a whopping 31 points. The defending champion is second. Paige Gordon is third.
I've been training really hard since September for the Commonwealth Games and the World Championships, and this is a good sort of starting point of the year for competition, and it sort of tells me how much work I'm going to have to do before Commonwealth.